We are ending this year off with a very solid horror movie with Silent Night, Deadly Night. I keep wanting to say opposite though whenever I say the title for some reason. Now, when I went to see this movie in theaters, I had no idea that it was a remake or anything at all. I just saw it online and I'm like, oh, a holiday slasher. I just got my tickets. So, as of recording now, this is a remake of a movie from 1984. Haven't seen that or any of the sequels that follow it. Didn't know it existed till today, but it is a remake. But that does not affect it because I still think of this just as a horror slasher by itself because I simply haven't seen the original, but it is a remake. And I'm also putting a little bit of effort into my shirt. This is my holiday horror t-shirt. I got this like 3 or 4 years ago. So I am trying to get wear into it until it's completely trashed. So with that being said, you'll see the shirt a lot more with anything holiday related because I'm getting my wear out of this t-shirt. So Silent Night, Deadly Night tells the story of Billy, who becomes a serial killer during the holidays after witnessing his parents being brutally murdered in front of him as a child. Now, going right into the pros, this has a very solid horror opening that I do enjoy. I think the gore is done very well here too, and it keeps up throughout the entire movie. I think that the movie length time is pretty solid too, and I do enjoy the story, even with it not being the most original story out there. I do enjoy it for a solid slasher, and that also comes with the ending. Because I do like the ending, even though that can be in the mixed with one element that I will be talking about. But those are the elements I do like about it, and for just a slasher movie, and the soundtrack, I do enjoy the soundtrack. The soundtrack also works very well in this movie with the Christmas music. As in one scene especially, I think I did laugh a little during that scene. And there was little moments like that where I'm like, okay. And this is just a fun movie, like fun holiday slasher overall. Like it's nothing special, but it's just, like a fun holiday slasher. I don't know how to describe it. Going into the mix, I only have one, and that is there is a lot of bad people and not a lot of not bad people. I understand that we have the main girlie, which we'll talk about her, how I feel about those kind of characters a bit. But I just feel like I understand the point of this movie and what they're trying to say. That does not blindside me at all. I get what they're trying to say. But I feel like if they made one change, and that is if they made one person that Billy killed, and it was they were just found murdered, and you can't believe that someone would do that, that's fine. But they do one choice that I'm like, if you would have changed that, it would have changed my mood drastically. And I know that's so small and that can be easily overlooked, but that is a mix for me of like how everyone is bad. And then there's that one person that is revealed that's like, obviously there's something shady about that character. I feel like that's pretty obvious, but I don't entirely get that story, but it is pretty obvious. So, that's pretty easily guessable, if that matters, people. Going into the negatives, the biggest one I can give it is the two main characters themselves. Now, this is not because of the acting, because the acting isn't bad in this one. It is because of the characters themselves. Now, this era for me, maybe it's the point now where I'm getting tired of like trauma is the horror movies I've seen too many of, kind of. And that I don't entirely love that about this movie. It's not something I get totally like, oh my god, annoyed with, but that is a negative for me in this movie. I think like the character, like him portraying his voiceover, talking him through as well logically, I'm like, movie magic there as well. This movie also they follow the trope of abuse equals that contributes to how he gets killed. Don't entirely love that. Not a fan of that entirely. But that's just me, and it can be overlooked. Another negative is the plot conveniences. One, and the main one here, is the suspense of belief, which is the wounds. There's one here, in one movie, and you're telling me, like, we see there's one tension scene where he's taking it out, not tension there. The next day you're feeling fine, and I know there's a scene where there's weight to it right here, and you're telling me that doesn't hurt at all, like it's just healed. Okay, that's just completely unreal. Interesting, and it's healed. And then at the end we get the jealous ex-cop boyfriend. You're telling me this man does not call the cops once he realizes what Billy is. He's like, hey, this guy, he's like this, blah, 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 blah. And you're telling me they don't do that. If they do that on screen, I don't know, but they don't show that. I feel like they were going that route. but they don't. But they did go another obvious route with their ex-boyfriend, which we'll talk about in spoilers. They don't want to get that entirely away because I feel like they don't want that spoiled, so we're not spoiling that for y'all in the non-spoiler section. And just little things like that that are in the movie that I'm like, okay. And then you have the main waitress like looking and giving her information on who that girl is that he's attracted to. Okay. But all of that to say, it's mainly the two characters and the fact that, you know, there's just plot hole conveniences like that that like raise my eyebrows at. I'm like, okay, sure. Movie magic logic. Now going into spoilers, let's talk some spoilers. Let's talk about the motivation. Now we find out early on that Billy does his advent calendar because he wants to control who gets killed and who doesn't get killed. So people he love doesn't get killed. And again, this is going back to the whole trauma thing. I'm not a big fan of like trauma is the horror. I'm guessing you got tired of it now. But I don't entirely love that motivation. I think the girl's father getting killed was interesting. I mean, I don't entirely hate that story. I think that works very well. I just think that, you know, having that there, and you know, I don't hate that part, but it's just like him doing that so he can control who gets killed. I'm like, okay, all right, trauma. And then you get the reveal of the cop ex-boyfriend was paid off and he was involved with, you know, the kids. And I don't entirely hate the Snatcher storyline. I think that was a very good way to end it, especially with the cursed line of that. I don't actually kind of like that storyline. And I feel like that they were going to go where she picks it up. So it's a very interesting story choice that they go. And I feel like even with a generic movie, the best spoilers that's like the best spoilers that I can give y'all, which is that, you know, he does it to control who gets killed and he kind of like transfers spirit, like when he talks about that kind of thing. More about the movie here. Having the ex-boyfriend be involved with the kidnapping of children was interesting. I predicted that pretty early on. I thought he was the kidnapper for a second, but I did. But him being involved didn't surprise me. That was predictable. Still, don't entirely hate that choice. I like how that kind of third act went. But going back to what I said about like the bad people kind of overtook it, I really like having the father killed when he was just a good guy worked for the movie, but having everyone else, like, it would have made such a change for me. This is so tiny, I know, if they made that one guy that was revealed as a killer of his wife, he wasn't a killer, he was just found dead. Still would have worked with what was said and how you don't really know people and how it can be in front of you, but I just wish they made that one tiny change and make a difference for me. Again, so small, but that's just me. So that is pretty much the end of the spoiler section, as I previously said the other spoilers beforehand. Overall, I think that this is a very solid horror film to end your office. It's nothing original, it's nothing special, but it is a solid horror slasher. So comment down below what you think of Silent Night, Deadly Night. Keep wanting to say opposite. And I hope you guys have a great day. And comment down below what your top of 2025 is so far, because this is the last movie review for 2025 horror on this channel. I'll see you guys soon with a brand new video.